Hello, dear learners. Welcome back to Let's Learn English Through Stories. Today, we go back in time to meet one of the most fascinating women in all of history. A woman who ruled a great kingdom, spoke many languages, made powerful allies, and even stood up to the Roman Empire. Her name is known all around the world. She is Cleopatra, the last queen of ancient Egypt. But Cleopatra was much more than a name. Her life was full of drama, politics, danger, and love. So let's discover the real story of Cleopatra. Let's begin. Early life in a royal world. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in Alexandria, the capital of Egypt. Her full name was Cleopatra the Seventh Philopator. She came from the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek royal family that ruled Egypt for almost 300 years. Her family had power, money, and a long history, but also a lot of conflict. The palace was beautiful, full of art, gold, music, and scrolls of ancient knowledge. But life was not easy. In the royal family, brothers and sisters often fought for the throne. Some even married each other to keep power in the family. Cleopatra later married two of her brothers, as was the custom. But she always ruled as the real leader. From childhood, Cleopatra showed great intelligence. She read books from the great library of Alexandria, one of the largest libraries in the world. She studied philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and politics. She also learned rhetoric, how to speak clearly and persuasively. And unlike other members of her family, Cleopatra learned to speak Egyptian. She also spoke Greek, Latin, Aramaic, Hebrew, and more. Some say she spoke 9 languages. She truly wanted to connect with her people, not just rule them from above. The first crisis. Fight for the crown. At age 18, Cleopatra became queen with her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII. At first, they ruled together, but soon, powerful advisors around her brother tried to push Cleopatra out. She had to flee Alexandria and hide in the desert, but she didn't give up. She began to plan. Cleopatra was clever and patient. Then came her chance. In 48 BC, the Roman general Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria. He was in the middle of a war with his rival Pompey. Cleopatra knew that Caesar could help her return to power. She arranged a secret meeting. According to the famous story, she had herself rolled inside a carpet and carried into Caesar's room. When he opened it, she appeared in fine clothes, calm and graceful. Caesar was surprised but impressed. Cleopatra was smart, confident, and well-spoken. He decided to support her. A civil war followed. Cleopatra's brother drowned in the Nile while escaping, and Cleopatra became queen again, this time alone. Cleopatra and Caesar, power and partnership. After the war, Cleopatra and Caesar became lovers and political partners. She invited him to stay in Egypt. For months, they enjoyed the beauty of Egypt together. Luxurious feasts, golden boats on the Nile, music and poetry, and long talks about politics and empire. In 47 BC, Cleopatra gave birth to a son, Caesarion, which means Little Caesar. She believed Caesarion could be the future ruler of both Egypt and Rome. In 46 BC, Cleopatra traveled to Rome with her son. She lived in a luxurious house built by Caesar. Some Romans were angry. A foreign queen in their city? But Cleopatra walked proudly, dressed like a goddess, often in robes of gold and purple, with perfume made from Egyptian flowers. Her beauty was famous, but many ancient writers say her voice, intelligence, and presence were even more powerful. But in 44 B.C., Caesar was murdered by Roman senators. Cleopatra, heartbroken and in danger, returned to Egypt. Cleopatra and Mark Antony, love and war. After Caesar's death, a new leader rose in Rome, Mark Antony. He was strong, popular with soldiers, and full of energy. In 41 B.C., Antony called Cleopatra to meet him in the city of Tarsus. Cleopatra knew how to make an entrance. She arrived on a golden ship with purple sails, silver oars, and musicians playing sweet music. She wore the clothing of the goddess Aphrodite, and her servants were dressed as gods. Antony was amazed. Just like Caesar, he fell in love with her. But their love was also a partnership. They needed each other for power. They had 3 children, twins, and another son. Cleopatra hoped her children could bring peace between Egypt and Rome. But Rome had other plans. The final battle and the end of a dynasty. In Rome, Caesar's adopted son Octavian, later called Augustus, saw Antony as a threat. He accused him of betraying Rome for Cleopatra. He said Antony wanted to give Roman land to her and her children. In 32 B.C., war was declared. The great Battle of Actium happened in 31 B.C. Cleopatra and Antony had hundreds of ships, but Octavian's navy was stronger and better organized. During the battle, Cleopatra sailed away to protect her fleet. Antony followed her, and the battle was lost. They returned to Alexandria, knowing the end was near. In 30 B.C., Octavian came to take the city. Antony, thinking Cleopatra was dead, took his own life. Cleopatra, still alive, held him in her arms as he died. A few days later, Cleopatra chose to die too, rather than become a trophy for Rome. Some say she used poison. Others say she let an asp, a poisonous snake, bite her. She was 39 years old. Her son Caesarion was killed soon after, and Egypt became a Roman province. It was the end of 3,000 years of Egyptian pharaohs. Cleopatra's legacy, a queen beyond time. After Cleopatra's death, Egypt changed forever. It was no longer a kingdom. It became a Roman province. A land once ruled by pharaohs, gods, and golden temples was now part of a foreign empire. But Cleopatra's spirit did not die. Even though her enemies wrote the history books, they could not erase her memory. In fact, Cleopatra became more famous than any Roman emperor. Her name lived on. Why? Because Cleopatra was not just a queen, she was a symbol. She showed the world that a woman could be strong and wise and lead in dangerous times. She was not a warrior with a sword, but a warrior with her mind. Cleopatra was a master of strategy. She knew when to wait, when to speak, and when to act. She ruled during a time when Egypt was weak and enemies were everywhere. But for more than 20 years, she kept her country alive. She built alliances with Rome, not through war, but through relationships, intelligence, and diplomacy. She knew how to turn enemies into allies. And she wasn't afraid of her power. She wore her crown with confidence. She met with kings, generals, and senators without fear. In her presence, powerful men listened, But Cleopatra was not only about power. She also loved beauty, science, art, and learning. In her palace, she supported poets, musicians, doctors, and astronomers. She helped keep the Library of Alexandria, the greatest library in the ancient world, alive during her reign. She believed that knowledge was as important as gold. She also changed how people saw a queen. She did not hide behind a curtain. She rode through the streets. She sailed the Nile. She appeared in temples as the goddess Isis, showing that she was both a leader and a symbol of unity for her people. And she never forgot who she ruled for, not for herself, but for Egypt. Even when her choices were difficult, even when Rome was stronger, Cleopatra did not surrender easily. She tried every path before giving up, and when there were no paths left, she chose her own ending with dignity. She did not want to be a prisoner in Rome. She did not want to be part of someone else's story. So she wrote her own final chapter. That takes courage. And that is why, more than 2,000 years later, we still say her name. In books, movies, music, and plays, Cleopatra is remembered. But more importantly, in the hearts of people who value bravery, intelligence, and independence, her legacy lives on. She inspires young girls to believe that their voice matters. She reminds leaders that power must be used with wisdom. And she teaches us all that, no matter how dark the world becomes, there is always light in knowledge, love, and courage. Cleopatra was the last Pharaoh of Egypt, but she was also the first of a new kind of queen, one whose story would echo across centuries. Thank you, dear friends, for listening to the incredible story of Cleopatra, a queen of grace, intelligence, and strength. What surprised you most about her life? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story to inspire others. Come back soon for more exciting adventures on Let's Learn English Through Stories. Until next time, keep learning and keep dreaming. Bye for now.